All right, ladies and gentlemen, thanks again. I'm your host, Derek Lane, another edition of the Fast Lane, your podcast for success. I appreciate your listenership. I appreciate your feedback. And once again, we've got another message for you this week. We can have a conversation, hopefully that will bring some insight and just spur some creativity on your part. So let's jump into it, shall we? I was thinking about something that I heard, and it made a lot of sense to me. It resonated very well with me, and that is the poor people are always managing for survival. Poor people always manage survival. In other words, the idea of accomplishing, reaching certain financial goals just seems out of reach, because they got to put food on the table, and it's just week to week, hand to mouth. And there's a lot of poor people out there, a lot of people doing that, and it doesn't matter what time you live in. That's always going to be the case. There's just people that are born into this structure, and that's the way it is. Then there's people that break out of that structure because of their desire, their strong desire, their willingness to work, to learn, to live right, do right, make the right connections, and little by little chip away at that poverty segment that may have had them at one point. So the interesting thing to know is that it costs you more to be poor. The cost of being poor and managing and struggling costs a lot more. If you're trying to balance a checkbook and you slip up, boom, you're going to get an overdraft fee right there. I mean, $40, $50 maybe, that just right out of your pocket that you don't really have. Let's say that your credit rating is just not where you would like it to be. Well, high risk translates into high interest rates. So if someone does give you a loan for something, an automobile or appliance or whatever, you're going to pay more. You're going to pay a lot more versus someone that's got the cash and just pays for it and it's done. It's an afterthought. You're going to be paying on this thing over time, because that is where they make the most money. That's why they do it, because that refrigerator that was $1,000, by the time you're done paying for it, you've paid $2,500, $3,000 for it. So it costs you a lot more by being poor to buy a refrigerator than it did for someone that was more affluent. You get something, utilities, you struggle to make that, and boom, you come home one day and your electric's turned off. Okay, you got to scramble and get it reconnected, and then there's a reconnection fee. Your car insurance, if your credit rating is not as good as you would like it to be, your car insurance is going to be higher than people with affluent credit. So it costs you a lot more to be poor. Now, I'm not telling you this to make you feel bad if you're in this segment. And if you're not in that segment, good for you. But listen, it's time to dig your heels in and start learning. Start doing something. Every little thing that you can. I know there's some financial coaches out there, even on the radio, that offer advice. And some of it's good because it's designed for people in these predicaments. Okay? That advice is not designed for people that have money and want to use, their A+ credit rating to land a deal so they can turn around and make, $150,000, $200,000 on it just by using somebody else's money and making a deal because they're in that position to do so. Wouldn't that be nice, right? Make a couple $100,000 just on a 30, 60, 90-day turnaround. Okay, well, there's people that do it. Real estate people that they kind of understand the idea of turning real estate. But we're not going to get into that. This message is on why you should take a serious look at your finances, take a serious look at your struggles, take a serious look at where you are. And even if you're not struggling on this level, even if you say, well, Derek, I mean, come on, that sounds pretty bad. And I know there's people that have that situation, but, what's in it for me? I'm doing okay in life. Well, what's in it for you is to make sure that you help others. And I'm not saying you have to, take money out of your bank account and go pay their electric bill. I'm just saying that you will get so much more out of life if you help people understand. If you show them a way that they can help themselves. And I know the old adage, buy a man a fish, teach him how to fish, that I get that. And that's kind of what I'm saying. Show a man how to fish so they can support themselves. There is no more amount of pride in this world than someone accomplishing something on their own that's not being handed to. I know politicians promise things, free this, free that, and they cater to the people that are struggling. The people that aren't struggling, they see right past their political BS, and we know it. And we know how politicians play class warfare. Okay? You don't need this, or you need this. We're going to get this program where you can get, free bread or, vouchers or whatever. So vote for me. Well, playing class warfare is doing a disservice to people. Okay? It's not teaching them how to break out of that cycle. Maybe their parents were in the same cycle, and that's what they've learned. And the mantras around the kitchen table were, well, that's just who we are. We're just poor old working folk. That's just who we are. Well, it's who you are, but it doesn't necessarily mean that's who you have to be. No, I'm not saying that, by next week you're going to be dining with the Rockefellers. All right? But you can take steps right away, just the small steps. And you know what I've said in every single podcast is that use a pen and paper. Write things down. Write down where you are. Write down where you want to be. Write down by what means. What is the vehicle that's going to get you where you want to be. Take small steps to show yourself that you can do it, so your subconscious buys into the fact that, okay, we can do this. Read books. The library is free. Go get books on finance, marketing, sales. Okay, I understand you want to read, something about, some fiction, crime, drama, whatever. That's fine. Okay, but if you want to break out of this cycle, then you need to be concentrating on the materials that help you do that. Okay, materials that engage your mind and allows your mind to start seeing that your reality can change. It doesn't have to be where it's at right now. Your reality can change just by forcing yourself to do the things that you don't normally do, the things that aren't natural to you, because no one's ever told you, okay? Because the people around you are in the same boat. I guarantee if you're struggling, you're not hanging out with rich people. I guarantee it. For a couple of different reasons. Because number one, you don't feel like you're worthy. Number two, you don't know any. But it's time to change that. Change that mentality. You are worthy. You were put on this earth to succeed, not fail. It just takes a little bit of thought on your part. Just a little bit of putting in to get out. Okay, so if you're just doing the bare minimum, you know what you're going to get, the bare minimum in return. But if you keep putting in more and more, and if you're not in that struggle, I want you to help people. I want you to be a community leader. I want you to go out and just think of something that you can do to help others. Whether it is just volunteering for something, or if you want to be a guest on my podcast, if you have an experience or something to share, I'll let you come on here and we'll talk about it. We'll talk about something that you can share that may trigger someone's ability to benefit their lives and impact their lives on a grand scale. So I'll put that challenge out to you, and you know my email address, Derek@fastlanepodcast.com. All right, so there again, the value of money is different for people that have money versus the people that don't have money. The value of money is different, because if I go to the grocery store and I've got $100, and I really need for my household, probably $150 worth of items, but I can't afford it. All I got's $100. So I'm budgeting. I'm spending time clipping coupons. I'm spending, shopping. I'm buying the off-brand stuff. Your kids are going, hey, can we have the good mac and cheese? No, can't afford it. We got to get this waxy substitute because it's 19 cents cheaper. We're on a budget. You know that. So now you're teaching your kids that you're poor, and the cycle is starting again, and you just don't do it. Just stop it. Okay? So even if you have a budget and you understand that's all you've got, because rich people, they go, they got what they want, and whatever the cost is the cost. If it rings up to 167, 170, 180, it doesn't matter. They're not on a budget. You are, and it's okay to be frugal. I'm frugal, and I don't like spending money. I want to save my money. I do things all the time that save me money. If I can do a repair to an appliance or maybe one of my vehicles that I feel comfortable doing, I'm pretty good with my hands, so I feel pretty good with a lot of stuff. And I can save money. So making money is the trick. Saving and budgeting that's good. That's where you're at, and that's where you have to be. But making money is the trick. That's why I say you have to learn. I want you to consider a mentor. Maybe go to your church, synagogue, whatever it is, and ask hey, who in here would you recommend that maybe I speak to after church to maybe get some advice? And trust me, people are willing to give you advice. They're willing to talk to you if they realize you're serious. If you're a flake and you're not serious, no, they're not going to talk to you. But if you're serious about moving from the also-ran to the affluent, if you're serious about turning that cycle out and not having to worry about so much about budgets and constant car repairs and all of the things that stress you out and make you old before you're supposed to be old.